Egypt is the gift of the Nile, as said by the great Greek historian Herodotus. Trans by the Nile and the determination and patriotism people. It's the land of civilization and history. It's the land of one of the first civilizations on earth, the Pharaonic civilization. The remnants today still show the greatness of the people and the steadfastness against challenges whatsoever. Revolution and the role of Muslim Brotherhood. The year 2011 was significant in the history of Egypt. On the 25th of January, a great public mobilization took place in the Police National Day, calling for President Mubarak to step down. The Vice President at that time, Omar Suleiman, announced the step down of the President Mubarak and called for the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces, led by Mohammed Hussein Tantawi, to run the country. Several fluctuations hit the country. The Muslim Brotherhood leveraged the state of inconstancy to carry out their plans, creating an opposition targeting the institutions of the country. In 2012, people voted in the parliamentary and presidential elections for the Muslim Brotherhood candidate. The state institutions began to fall apart as a result of foreign hands interfering in the Egyptian affairs. This led to the emergence of militant groups receiving logistic and military support from such foreign factors. Several case files were closed and many convicted were released. Millions of Egyptians went out in the streets on the 13th of June 2013 to non-violently express their freedoms, which was an unprecedented civil action proving the power of the people calling for their rights. The world heard the voice of the Egyptian people loud and clear. People in charge of the country were the ones likely to welcome such public action. People in charge of the country were the ones likely to welcome such public action and receive it with much responsibility, trying to keep the process on the democratic track. Within such turmoil, the armed forces took their national and historical stand to protect the country and the people. They were able to tactically kick out a terrorist organization off the chair. They maintained the dignity of the people and authenticity of the land. In the same year, people voted for the new president Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as their leader to put things back on track, preserving the efforts of the revolution. Terrorism hits the country again, and organized groups ravaged through the country, killing, stealing, and destroying, using all means against Egypt and its people. The criminals won, regardless of the titles. The parliament, the army, and the police called for an immediate action to halt the fierce attack of terrorism and stop the threats of the Muslim Brotherhood, who were planning to create a civil war. The army had no choice but to take their national duty, so they started targeting the sources of terrorism and seizing their fund. Operation Martyr's Right was therefore launched against the militiant groups including Hasm, Liwa al-Thawra, Wilayat Sina, and Jund Masr, all led by operatives from the Muslim Brotherhood. In the same context, the political leadership were facing another type of war to save the country's economy and to keep the development process going. The reform plan made by the political leadership went on 8 major scales with a budget of 1,040 billion Egyptian pound tailored for the development of Egypt. Many big projects were started, such as New Suez Canal, the national roads, new cities, national electricity project, and many other development projects, all done during fighting against terrorism. The situation in Sinai kept snowballing while the Egyptian army and police were fighting against ISIS, who decided to line up in Sinai Peninsula. The Bedouin tribes took a united stand fighting alongside with the army against ISIS. The Bedouin tribes took a united stand fighting alongside with the army against ISIS by providing the forces with intel about such militias. The army continued to receive attacks by the jihadist groups, which resulted in losing almost 1,000 martyrs killed by the hand of those militias.
أي إنسان يرفع السلاح على الجيش بلا أي رحمة ولا تردد.
اتحاد القبائل عدة قبائل متحدين مع بعض بالاتفاق طبعا مع الدولة لمحاربة الفكر التكفيري ومساعدة الدولة سواء في معلومات سواء في محاصرة التكفيريين، كله طبعا بتنسيق مع الدولة.
The Egyptian people stood against the attacks which targeted mosques and churches all the same, not to mention targeting ancient historic places. The people reaffirmed their support to the armed forces and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who is leading this noble mission for the sake of the people and the country.
عايزة لما تنادي يا ابني تشوف 90 مليون بابني، عايزة الكل يشيل جميلها ما ينساهوش. عارفين مصر عايزة ايه؟ عايزة منا فعل مش عايزة كلامنا، كل ما هنخاف عليها هتبقى جنة، عايزاها صحراء خضرا بإيد الفلاحين، ونعلم الجيل اللي طالع هي مين. عايزة لما تنادي يا ابني تشوف 90 مليون بيبني، عايزة الكل يشيل جميلها ما ينساهوش.